A
Descent
spacecraft
phase
landed
3
on the moon
initiated.
for the
All
first time
systems
in
green.
52
Copy.
years,
Velocity looks stable.
and the images
Stand
it
by
sent
for
back
touchdown.
revealed something about the lunar surface that
Yes.
scientists were not
Incredible
fully
work,
prepared
team.
to see. And it happened not from a government with $1 trillion space budget, but from a small commercial company that almost nobody outside the space industry had heard of before launch day.
This is the rugged
Intuitive
terrain of
Machines'
Malapert A crater at
IM-1
the
mission,
moon's South Pole.
carrying the
In these
Nova C
permanently
lander
shadowed
named
walls,
Odysseus,
water ice deposits
lifted
are
off
confirmed to
aboard a
exist.
SpaceX Falcon
A
9
potential resource
rocket
for
on
future
February
explorers.
15, 2024.
Final descent initiated.
On February 22,
Switching to repurposed navigation Doppler
Odysseus
LiDAR.
became
LiDAR
the first
active.
American
Transmitting
spacecraft to
altitude.
successfully
Defied
land on
nominal.
the moon
LiDAR lock
since
maintained.
Apollo 17 in December
Final descent initiated.
1972.
Switching
and the
to
first
repurposed
commercial
navigation
spacecraft in
Doppler
history
LiDAR.
to achieve
LiDAR
a soft
active.
lunar
Transmitting
landing.
altitude.
The internet
Defied
did not
nominal.
just notice,
LiDAR lock
it
maintained.
stopped. The mission broke through public consciousness in a way that NASA's recent orbital missions had not quite managed, because it carried the raw, unscripted tension of something genuinely difficult being attempted in real time with an uncertain outcome. And the outcome was not clean. Odysseus landed, but it landed on its side. During the final descent,
NASA's CLPS
one of the
program
lander's
advances
laser
lunar exploration
rangefinder
through commercial
systems,
partnership.
the
In
sensors
January
responsible for
2024, the
measuring
Peregrine mission
altitude
experienced
above
a
the
failure
lunar
after
surface,
launch. These efforts
failed to
paved the way for
activate
future lunar
properly
missions.
because a safety switch had been left in the armed position during pre-flight checks, blocking the sensor's operation. NASA's LiDAR system on board, the Navigation Doppler LiDAR, was hastily repurposed mid-flight to provide the altitude data the primary system could not supply. The landing sequence executed, Odysseus reached the lunar surface, but touched down at a velocity and angle that caused one of its 6 landing legs to catch on the terrain, tipping the lander onto its side. It was not
Descent
the
phase 3
picture-perfect
initiated.
vertical
All
landing the
systems
mission
green.
graphics
Copy.
had
Velocity
depicted.
looks stable.
It was
Stand
something
by for
more
touchdown.
honest. A spacecraft that had traveled
Yes.
400,000
Incredible work,
kilometers from
team.
Earth, survived a powered descent to the lunar surface, and landed imperfectly, but successfully, on a world humanity had not touched in over half a century. The internet's
Final
reaction
descent
was immediate,
initiated.
global,
Switching to
and deeply
repurposed
human.
navigation Doppler
Despite
LiDAR.
the tilted
LiDAR
orientation,
active. Transmitting
Odysseus
altitude.
transmitted
Defied
data.
nominal.
Its
LiDAR
solar
lock
panels
maintained.
received partial sunlight.
Final descent
Its
initiated.
communication systems functioned.
Switching to repurposed
Several
navigation
of the 10
Doppler
NASA
LiDAR.
payloads it
LiDAR
carried
active.
were able to
Transmitting
collect
altitude.
scientific
Defied
data from the
nominal.
lunar
LiDAR
surface.
lock maintained.
The mission operated for approximately 6 Earth days before the lunar night descended and Odysseus went silent, as expected for a lander without the thermal systems required to survive the moon's
NASA's
2-week-long
program
darkness,
advances lunar
where
exploration
temperatures
through
dropped to
commercial
negative
partnerships. In January
173
2024,
degrees
the Peregrine mission
Celsius.
experienced a failure
The
after
scientific
launch. These
payloads
efforts paved the
Odysseus
way for
carried
future
were
lunar
not
missions.
symbolic. They included NASA's radio frequency mass gauge, technology designed to measure propellant levels in microgravity, critical for future crewed missions. The Lunar Node 1 navigation beacon, a demonstration of positioning technology for future surface navigation systems. A stereo camera system for mapping the landing site terrain. And an experiment
This is the rugged
studying
terrain
how
of
rocket
Malapert A
engine
crater
plumes
at the moon's
interact with
South
the lunar
Pole.
surface.
In these permanently shadowed
Data
walls,
directly
water
applicable
ice
to
deposits are
designing
confirmed
landing
to exist.
systems for the Artemis
potential
crewed
resource
missions
for future
targeting the
explorers.
lunar South
Final
Pole.
descent initiated.
The South Pole location
Switching to
of the landing
repurposed
site
navigation
was
Doppler
itself
LiDAR.
significant.
LiDAR active.
Odysseus set
Transmitting
down near
altitude.
Malapert,
Defied nominal.
a crater
LiDAR lock maintained.
closer to the lunar South Pole than any previous spacecraft in history. The South Pole is the primary target of NASA's Artemis program because of confirmed evidence of water ice in permanently shadowed craters in that region. Water ice means potential drinking water, radiation shielding, and most critically, hydrogen and oxygen for rocket propellant. The South Pole is not just a geographic target, it is a resource deposit that could make sustained lunar presence economically viable. The broader context of what IM-1 represented goes beyond the single mission. It was the first successful flight under NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services Program, CLPS, a contracting approach where NASA pays commercial companies to deliver scientific payloads to the moon rather than operating government-owned landers. The philosophy mirrors what the Commercial Crew Program did for ISS
Final descent
transportation,
initiated.
leveraging
Switching to
private sector
repurposed
innovation
navigation
and
Doppler
competition
LiDAR.
to
LiDAR
reduce
active.
costs and
Transmitting
increase flight
altitude.
frequency
Defied nominal.
compared
LiDAR
to a
lock
single
maintained.
government-developed system.
Final descent
The CLPS
initiated.
approach is not without
Switching to
risk.
repurposed navigation
A previous
Doppler
CLPS
LiDAR.
mission,
LiDAR
Astrobotic's
active.
Peregrine
Transmitting
lander
altitude.
launched in
Defied
January
nominal. LiDAR lock
2024,
maintained.
experienced a propulsion system failure shortly after launch that prevented it from reaching the moon. IM-1 succeeded where Peregrine could not, demonstrating that the commercial model can deliver results even while acknowledging that commercial development inherently involves failure alongside success. Intuitive Machines is already preparing follow-on missions. IM-2 targets a
NASA's
landing
CLPS
near the
program
lunar
advances
South Pole
lunar
with a
exploration
drill
through
payload
commercial
designed to
partnerships.
excavate
In January
below the surface
2024, the
in
Peregrine
search of
mission experienced a
subsurface
failure
water
after
ice.
launch. These efforts
Potentially
paved
the
way for
most
future lunar
important
missions.
scientific measurement attempted on the Moon since the Apollo era. IM-3 is planned to carry a rover and additional NASA instruments. What broke the internet on February 22,
NASA's
2024
CLPS program
was not
advances
just a
lunar
spacecraft
exploration through
landing on the
commercial
Moon.
partnerships.
It was
In
the
January
realization that the
2024,
Moon
Peregrine
is
mission
accessible
experienced a failure
again.
after launch.
Not to a
These efforts paved the
superpower
way for
executing
future
a
lunar
national
missions.
prestige program, but to a company with approximately 200 employees executing a contract, iterating through failures, and succeeding imperfectly on a world 250,000 miles away. The Moon is open for business, and the missions getting harder and more ambitious are already in preparation. So here is what I want you to answer in the comments.
This is the rugged
When a
terrain of
commercial
Malapert
company
A
with
crater
200
at the moon's
employees
south
can
pole.
land on the
In these
Moon,
permanently shadowed
and
walls,
NASA is
water
preparing
ice
to send
deposits are confirmed
astronauts to the
exist.
same region within the
potential
next few
resource for future
years,
explorers.
do you think the South
Final
Pole's
descent
water
initiated.
ice will ultimately be
Switching to
treated as a
repurposed
shared human
navigation
resource
Doppler LiDAR.
or a
LiDAR
commercially
active.
exploitable
Transmitting
asset
altitude.
owned by
Divide
whoever
nominal.
gets there
LiDAR
first?
lock maintained.
Follow this page right now, because the next chapter of lunar exploration is moving faster than any news cycle can keep up with, and we break every major development down clearly every single week.